everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Maddie and today I'm going to be giving you guys some romance book recommendations. Valentine's Day is approaching, and whether you're in a relationship or not, or it's complicated, I still think romance books are a good way to escape this reality that we are in. Now, I do just want to put a disclaimer out there really quick that some of the books that I'm talking about are talked about a lot. So if you have heard or looked up a video like this and you've seen these books everywhere, I'm sorry, they just happen to be the books that I've read recently. I have always kind of liked reading romance, but more so fantasy romance, so the contemporary romance genre is kind of new to me and I'm really liking it. So that's kind of why I have the same recommendations sometimes, because I'm still just getting into the genre. Because I'm a newbie into the romance genre, I figured I could share some of my favorites so far. So I have a few categories that I will be talking about. First category is just kind of that contemporary rom-com genre. Then I have some emotional books. Then I have some fantasy romance that I really like. And then I even have some that I haven't read yet, but I plan to read soon. So the first little category is contemporary / rom-com. This is kind of the most popular category, I feel like, with TikTok and BookTube. This category gets a lot of hype and a lot of books surrounding it. Again, sorry if you've heard these books over and over again. I do own these books, but they're on my shelf and I don't really want to dig them out, so I'll put a little picture next to my head. The first book is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I'm not going to talk about this book because one, it's a movie. Two, it's so popular on Book Talk that it's almost pointless to talk about, but it is one of my favorite rom-com-y books. I'm not going to really talk about The Hating Game, but I do think the romance side of The Hating Game is very cute. There's a lot of flirting, there's a lot of like moments that made me feel really giddy. And let me pull out a book. Hold on. So when I tab books, the pink means like giddy, cute, romancy scenes. When I read The Hating Game, I didn't tab it when I first read it because I just got into tabbing my books, but if I went back, I know there would just be pink tab after pink tab. I'm not gonna lie, the next three books that I'm about to talk about are talked about a lot already, so I'm gonna skim through them really quick, okay? The Unhoneymooners, an amazing enemies to lovers. It's probably my favorite enemies to lovers to date. Like, I'm just so in love with Christina Lauren's writing. Something that I think a lot of people would like is this book isn't heavy on the smut. It's really heavy on the flirting, on the bickering and banting back and forth. There's a really cute romantic scene towards the end. If you're someone who's not really into the heavy smut, this is a great one. It's a little steamy and then it like cuts off. The Love Hypothesis. This was in my top 5 of 2021. I was obsessed with this book when I read it. I'm going to talk about this one a little bit. Adam Carlson is a lab professor at this university, and Olive is like a lab tech student working on her like final capstone something. I can't quite remember, if I'm being honest. I read it like 2 months ago, but they end up in a fake dating situation. The Unhoneymooners did an amazing job with enemies to lovers, and The Love Hypothesis did an amazing job with fake dating, in my opinion. And then we have People We Meet on Vacation. I think these 4 books that I've just talked about, again, are super popular. They're popular for a reason. Okay. My favorite part about People We Meet on Vacation was the flipping back and forth between time periods. So like it was current day in half of the chapters, and the other half of the chapters were flashing back to each summer that they had together. They had a falling out on one of their vacations, and you're trying to piece together through all of the flashbacks and like jumping back and forth why they like had a friendship breakup. I'm gonna talk about emotional romantic books, and I just have to plug Colleen Hoover because all of her books are emotional and very romantic. All of her books also have a lot of trigger warnings, so please look that up before you read her books. But the 3 emotional books that I have, 2 are from Colleen Hoover. One, Regretting You, I thought was the cutest young Colleen Hoover book. There wasn't a lot of smut involved. I would consider Regretting You young adult with like a hint of trauma. The ending had the best romantic scene I've ever read in a book. So Regretting You is about a mother and a daughter. The mother just so happened to have the daughter really young, so they're both kind of always combative and they're butting heads all the time. Some traumatic event happens and it kind of separates the mother and daughter a little bit more. The daughter kind of finds a boyfriend, the mom kind of finds another dude, and you're seeing both sides of these 2 relationships. And the ending, I wasn't expecting to like that ending very much. Like Regretting You, it was kind of a slow burn. Like it's slow, something big happens and then it's slow and then like the ending's perfect. Now, the next book from Colleen Hoover would be November 9. Ben and Fallon randomly meet on one day. I won't describe the circumstances because it's like the first chapter, so if you do read it, it'll be right there. And they promise each other no strings attached or anything. They won't give each other phone numbers or emails, nothing. They'll have no contact throughout the year, but every year on November 9th, they will meet together, kind of reconnect, catch up, and give each other more homework for that following year. If I say anything else, I will spoil it. I've read this book twice. I love this book. I love it so much. I love it so much. Amazing romantic book. I mean, it's like romantic, but also fucked up. But I feel like that's just Colleen Hoover's way of doing things. Okay, and the next book I'm actually really excited to talk about. I just finished it last night and I'm on the second book now. It is Full Tilt by Emma Scott. If you read the back of the book, if you read the synopsis, it kind of spoils it for you. You already know the ending, so I was expecting to be torn apart by this book, and I kind of wasn't because I knew what was gonna happen. But sorry, I won't talk about this book anymore. It's just because I just read it last night. It is very romantic. Pink, again, like the cutest little parts. There's one specific part at the very end that's super romantic. I think that there was just like a very good close to this book, and I'm actually reading the second book now, which is called All In, and I kind of like it a little bit better than this one. It's with his brother. The next category I'm gonna do is fantasy. I only have 3 little books for this category, and that's because I think these 3 books were really romanticized. The first book is Discovery of Witches, the All Souls trilogy. This is actually the series that got me into reading. I think I just have a special place in my heart for it. I'm not crying, I swear. I've got something in my eye. What the hell is in my eye? Discovery of Witches, you're thrown into this world with a witch and a vampire. But it's not a Twilight vampire cheesy kind of thing. This vampire is different. The next series, I'm not going to talk long about it, Outlander. The books are dense, the series is long, but it is worth it. It is worth it. I did watch the series first. Don't come at me. I feel like that's controversial. It's very romantic. Jamie has my heart forever. Since I did watch the show first, I already had him like in my head when I read it, so it helped. And I did think that Outlander, along with Discovery of Witches, have a really cool history aspect to it. Especially in Discovery of Witches, it's more so about the history of art and literature and like Oxford history. It's really, really cool. So if you're into kind of historical fiction, you would like Discovery of Witches and Outlander. And the next book I just read and I didn't really like it. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Caraval, oh my god. That book I didn't really like, but the romance was amplified in this book, and I can admit that. I did enjoy Julian and Scarlett's connection. Their connection was great. I thought that the ending was amazing too, because you just didn't know the truth between them. You didn't know if Julian was pretending, and you didn't know if Scarlett was like freaking high or anything. Like, she just seemed all over the place. Like, I didn't know anything about Scarlett. The only reason I'm recommending this book is because so many other people like it. So I'm genuinely thinking it's just me with this one. If you're into the circus/carnival setting, you'll really like this, especially with the added element of romance. The romance side of this book I did like. The setting and the plot I didn't like. The next category is books that I plan to read pretty soon, actually. 2 Christina Lauren books I plan to read, Love and Other Words and The Soulmate Equation, I've heard are very romantic books, and I think Love and Other Words is pretty sad. Is it sad? I don't know. I feel like I've heard that, and for some reason I love sad books. I really like crying during my books. Next, because I read People We Meet on Vacation and Beach Read, Book Lovers comes out soon. I already pre-ordered it, so I should get it in the mail when it comes out. Very excited to read that one. And last but not least, just Mariana Zapata in general. I didn't mention Colty in this because I've only read one of her books, but Colty was another romantic book if you want to read that. I'm just looking forward to reading Mariana overall. That is it for this video. I'm sorry I didn't give much detail, summary, or synopsis on any of these books, but that's because I think that you should pick one of these books to read the week of Valentine's Day yourself. Tell me how you like it. Leave a comment down below your favorite romance book, or if you have any suggestions for me. I will see you guys next week. I'm really excited for next week. Okay, see you later.